Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappy here, back again with Fate Unlimited Blade Works 1, episode 7 of season 2. And in the last couple of episodes, Kasta is dead, Kazuki is dead. All this was brought about because Archer had a plan in mind to sort of infiltrate, gain their trust, become a part of Kasta's team and whatnot, and then wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. They managed to do that by having Rin and Shiro start a fight with Kasta, and then her eye wasn't upon Archer and seeing what he was doing, so he had time to come in and basically rain on the parade and take out both Kasta and her master as well. So that happened, and then when we thought that Archer may have done this all for the sake of, like, you know, Rin and Shiro, no, he still has this sort of idea in his head that Shiro must be killed off. And whether it's in his head or not that he knows that he is Shiro, so he's killing off his past self because at that point he doesn't look at his previous ideals as the right way to go about things. So whether the fact is that Archer actually knows that he is Shiro or not is another thing. I mean, it hasn't really been confirmed, so it's still possible that, you know, he doesn't realize that. I mean, he said before in the past that he doesn't recall, like, his past self. I mean, because I think what would be interesting, and I kind of hope it's this way, that Archer doesn't know that he is Shiro at this moment. Like, I would like to see, because I want to see what, I would like to see, like, a moment in which Archer knows, or, like, it's revealed to him that he is Shiro and he figures that out. Because I would like to see what his, like, how he would change. Because it's mad to think the way Shiro is now versus how Archer is. You know what I mean? Like, there's like it's almost like it's two completely different people. You know what I mean? That's obviously separated by a lot of years, you'd imagine. You know, like Rin said before, like, you know, over the course of the years he's been betrayed constantly and whatnot, and then eventually his ideals betrayed him. He's become a completely different person. You know, the way Shiro is now, he's out, you know, he's out to help other people, and that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about what he's thinking, really. You know, he puts everyone else first, whereas in you know, in Archer's, the way Archer does things now, he does things, you know, I think it's still sort of there, but I think he's more willing to go ahead and do things a bit more selfishly, maybe act a bit more on what he's thinking. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see what that is. So yeah, what Archer did was he took Rin away after he transported him into his reality marble to try and kill him off. Couldn't do that because Shiro was actually, you know what? Yeah, I don't think Archer knows that he is Shiro right now. Because he would know that by bringing Shiro into his reality marble that, you know, Shiro would be, you know, he said that he was able to see while he was in there. So, you know, if he knew that he was Shiro, then surely, you know what I mean, he wouldn't bring him into the reality marble, because he would just be able to, you know, Shiro would be very much at home in that place, you know. So yeah, I don't think he does know that he's Shiro. But anyway, yeah, so he took Rin away as a sort of as a hostage. And Shiro has decided he's going to meet up with him at the Ainsburn Manor, I believe. And then Gilgamesh and Shinji turned up. You know, and Gilgamesh called Archer a faker, so he's aware. Don't know of how much, but he is aware. And yeah, and as of right now, yeah, Rin actually took over Saber as her master now, which I really love. That I like that, like, so much. You know what I mean? I called out before it happened, and I was very happy with how it turned out. So so yeah, she's got all her 3 command spells back, I believe, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, but we're just gonna have to find out. So yeah, we're gonna get in episode 7, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, this was one of the most mental episodes. How the fuck is Kirei Lanza's master? How? How the fuck? Oh, I never ever put that together. Like, I never thought in a million fucking years that would be the case. Like, because Did they not confirm? Did Lancer not confirm that his master was female? I'm sure he did. I don't know, I might have read it wrong. It sounded like he said that his master was a she. Like, I can't remember the exact quote, but I'm sure he said, like, my master or something is, oh, I'm sure he did. So, yeah, so I think it's confirmed now, Sakura doesn't have anything to do with this anymore. I've been trying to, like, figure out a way for her to be, like, involved, and it's not. So what was the point of Gilgamesh talking to Sakura this whole time then? What was the point in all that? Unless it was just a way through to Shinji, I guess. That is fucked. That is nuts. I never... You know what threw me off as well is that moment when Castor went into the church and then asked about the Lesser Grail, and then Kiria was stuck fighting like a bunch of the fucking familiars and whatnot. Yeah, it went up to like Lancer, right, and he was talking like, should I interfere? I guess there was something with that, but it almost seemed like he was talking to a third party, like somebody else, like not referring to Kiria in that moment, you know? Oh, fucking hell. Okay. So yeah, at the very beginning there, and then we saw. Actually, I want to go back. I want to see exactly what Archer said in regards to. Where is it? He said when he was making a pact, right? God, where is it? Don't know where it will be. Is it further back? He said that he said that he'd made a pact with and I just want to get what the fucking, here it is, right? So he says, yeah, what I got was nothing but regrets. Made a pact with a counterbalancing force. So where the fuck is that then? Like, where do you go to make a pact with this counterbalancing force? You see, what I'm kind of thinking about is like how, what's the force of the world? Like, you know what I mean? So is there like is there like an initial sort of thing? It could be like, you know, equates to a god or something like that, right? I know there's like the Angra Mainyu thing, but that's like that's connected, but it's not like the same thing. I think there's got to be like an overall force around, like, in this universe that that the Grail takes from, because I don't think the Grail itself is like, you know, I don't think like that is like in charge of, you know, I don't think it's like, you know, I don't think that controls the world. I think there is like a force in which you can make, I guess you can make a pact with it. The thing I'm looking at here is that, to me, it looks like he's alive. He's older, but you see, because when Archer said that he was like sent to the gallows, and he said by the mastermind. Now I don't know what that is. I was thinking like maybe, so maybe this thing with the pact is like a purgatory thing, where like, you know, you decide, I don't know, to pass on, or you can choose to stay on as a defender, I guess. I thought like maybe it was a purgatory thing. So like in the instance where he is here, that is like, I don't, so maybe he's already dead at that point, but I don't know. I would love to know where that is, or like how he's come about that. Like, I don't know, maybe you can maybe it's more like a summon kind of thing. Like if you have like the magical prowess, maybe you can somehow summon it to make a deal or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's an incantation. It's like you basically, it's like selling your soul essentially. I can sort of see it maybe as that. But yeah, so he made a pact with that, right? The idea was that himself, because he has always sought this ideal to live for others and become a hero of justice and go out and save people, that if he was to become a defender, essentially a defender of the realm, right? If he was put into that position where he was a hero, where he could be brought in to save people and things like that. Like that's what our Shiro currently, like that's what he lives for. That's what he wants to do. So thinking before he like attaches himself to that, he's thinking, yeah, I'll go in there. That's what I want to do. But then knowingly over time, knowing that because he is so much he is like so far down the line of like living for other people apart from himself that he can be easily manipulated, and that's the reason why he's being betrayed consistently, and that's why that's being brought up. And then eventually, just over the course of time, God knows how long he's been doing this for. I mean, when you're dealing with like time and like time travel and the idea that like things in the future can be in the past and shit like that, like you can go down a fucking thing of like he could be doing this for fucking 4 millennia, like forever. So I don't know how long that could possibly be, but I mean, even for something like, even how much Shiro is so into this idea that is what he wants to do with anything, do it to a point where like do it to the extent that Archer's been doing it, or yeah, eventually you'll start to see the other side of it. And I think that's what it is. Like, I think maybe Saber, by quoting, basically saying, no, you have like, maybe it's not that your ideals have fully changed or whatever, it's just that you've just lost your way. Maybe that is more of the point. It's kind of like, because he's been doing it, and doing it and doing it and doing it and keep on doing it and consistently doing it, that it's gotten to the point that he saw the fact that he can't save everyone. There's always going to be somebody that he needs to kill in order to save the rest of the people. You know what I mean? So, living for a world where there is no war, I like the continuation from Kiritsugu, like, because the whole thing of Zero with Kiritsugu was to end war and whatnot, and then continuing on with that's what Shiro's idea was. Although it wasn't straight up, like, he never said it as like, oh, I'm going to end all war. There was never like a quote from Shiro like that, but it was more along the lines of just saving everyone, which is a continuation of what Kiritsugu essentially wanted to do. It's just through different, like, Kiritsugu just said it a different way. So, but Shiro finding out that that is just not possible, it kind of just brings full circle what happened at the end of Zero with, the sort of the spirit of the Grail or whatever that was talking to Kiritsugu at that time, basically saying that, if you want to get rid of war, then you're going to destroy humanity. That's what you're going to do, because that's the only way you get rid of war. I mean, I feel like I say it way too much, but like, the idea of, humanity, us as a whole, is that we have free will, and because we have our own thoughts and feelings on each other, you know what I mean? Like, opinions and opinionated people, like, there's always going to be somebody that you disagree with, and then there's going to be those people that take that disagreement to like the next level. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be conflict, and you can't get rid of that. The only way you get rid of it is by getting rid of free will, or in the case that they're talking about in this show, like, if you want to get rid of war, you got to do it within the means, and the means means that you need to kill, that like humanity just will have to be destroyed. So Archer realizing that is what made him basically say, you know, basically change his whole tune on all of that, and then by hopefully by like, you know, by Archer thinking that he can kill Shiro, that it will basically I guess the timelines will interconnect, and therefore Archer himself will no longer be as well. And now I was saying, like, in the middle of the thing, it's like it's not a loop time travel, which means that it's not like a case of this has happened an infinite amount of times. Like, you know, if the Shiro that we have now, you know, let's say he defeats Archer and whatnot, and Archer says, like, you know, I thought that way at one point or whatever. Shiro goes along, does the exact same thing, and then, you know, we revert back to essentially episode 1 of UBW, you know what I mean? And then it happens again. And then, you know, so I don't think there's a loop thing going on. Because also, like, the way that Archer describes it, he describes it as like it's happened. No, this is the first time it's happened. Like, it's not something that is continuously, like, Archer doesn't, you know, he hasn't talked about the idea of like, oh, well, when I was in your shoes once, I went up against my future self. You know what I mean? This is obviously the first time it's happened, so there's no loop time travel thing happening here. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, those two going at it. Shiro basically saying, yeah, well, we're two different people, and it's like, well, yeah, but then I guess, like, you can say, what's the best, like, sort of analogy I can give? So somebody who is how old is Shiro? Like, what is 16? We'll just say 16, right? So somebody who is 16 and then somebody who is 32 can be totally, like, but they're the same person, right? They've just grown up. They can have completely different ideals and different thought patterns, and they'll think about things in different ways because they've had time to grow up and mature and realize the ways of the world. And I think in some ways this is kind of the same thing. Like, Archer is a grown-up version of Shiro, and he's kind of realized the ways of the world. Now, I look at Archer, and when he's telling his story, I tend to agree with him, maybe more so on what Shiro is reiterating to Archer by, like, because so Shiro says, oh, well, I'll sort of change my, like, ideals around, like, certain things so I don't end up like you at that point, you know what I mean? And Archer's like, well, I was that way at one point. You know, I kind of agree with Archer in the way, because I'm more of a realist anyway. So, and obviously it's quite clear that, you know, I think that's the way that it is. Archer's the realist, Shiro is the idealist, right? And I think, you know, I mean, I'm more of a realist, so I tend to agree with exactly what Archer's saying, especially when he's saying, like, you know, Shiro, if he wants to go down this path of, you know, being a hero for justice and whatever, he's got to take out this thing in his head where he's like, okay, I can't save everyone. Like, that has to be a thing that clicks in his head, and he'll, you know what I mean? I mean, the good thing is with Archer telling Shiro that, you know, this thing, made a pact with the counterbalancing thing, right? That you would think that Shiro would be like, okay, then I won't do that then. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you can see the way Archer has been, and the way that he's sort of thought of it. I mean, the thing is that because this isn't a loop time travel, this means that Archer, when he was Shiro, didn't get the future knowledge that Archer has. You know, he was, you know, because that was the first, like, this is just one thing that has happened. When he was Shiro, he didn't get his future self telling him exactly what the case was. So he's gone through it. He's done the, you know, he's had to go through it and experience it, and because of that, he's been fucked over. But I think that allows Shiro now, like, to understand that maybe that's not the best course of action, or it gives him some sort of it tells him something for the future. So even if he does make a pact and he ends up becoming you know, exactly what Archer is, and being a defender of the realm, that you know, that he has this thought in his mind that his original ideals can't change because he's already had this thought, like this, you know, this argument with his future self. I mean, the interesting thing is that it's like, at what point would it end? You know what I mean? Because me saying that this isn't a loop time travel thing, could it start as one? Like, because if Shiro was to go on and do everything that Archer did beforehand, where he makes a pact, right? So what, at that point, are we saying that there's going to be 2 Shiro Emias as defenders at one? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it could become a loop time travel thing, but I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't be an exact loop though, because if Shiro was to become Archer again, like, you know what I mean, then there's two of them, and then it's like, you know what I mean. So I don't know, but with Shiro having like future knowledge of exactly how his future self turned out, that he does have the knowledge now where he can sort of make educated decisions based upon what his future self did become, so he can maybe go down a better path, and then it actually works out for a change. I mean, like I said, there's no way he's going to make a... He needs to change this thought process of saving everyone, because it's not going to happen. So, you know, I guess that's something that he's going to have to do. But yeah, this episode was nuts. It was great. I loved it. So yeah, Archer was saying there needs to be always a link needed between a master and servant. I like how they immediately they come up with the pendant thing. You know, basically saying that, yeah, this was something that was it was a catalyst that was a part of you know, Tokyomi. He had it. It was passed down. There's no other one in existence, so they both had to be the same pendant. And that, you know, basically the catalyst, what they were talking about originally when they were talking about it, and said like the catalyst, the reason, you know, Rin thought that, oh shit, like it spawned a servant at random because like, oh, the catalyst didn't work because it wasn't the right time, whatever the fuck. But in reality, it was actually the pendant, because it has that sort of time connection with Shiro. That's the reason why, like, he was brought into that time period, which is nuts. I mean, I want to kind of know, like, I want to know the exact moment that Archer was aware that this has happened, you know, because it seemingly he's completely aware of the times that he went in as Archer. Well, I don't even know if he went in as Archer. I mean, he's using bows and shit, right? So we'll just call him Archer just because that's how we know him as, because it gets complicated if you just start calling him Shiro as well. So we'll just call him Archer. When he was like, you know, we saw him like in little like flashbacks when he's going throughout and he's like killing people and stuff, yeah? So he remembers all that stuff when he's talking about it. Now, I mean, there could be a case for the idea as like, oh, he's a defender, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of thing about him not giving away who he is, he's not supposed to. Maybe, you know, him knowing that Shiro and Rin are close, maybe there's something with that where he can't, you know, it would just be confusing that way, so he never chose to elaborate on it. Or it could just be a case of the reason why he couldn't remember when he came into this is because he's coming into the same time as what Shiro is, like, so his former self was in, so maybe there was that. And then, but I just want to know, I would like to know the exact moment he knew, or if he knew the whole time, you know, because yeah, I just want to know. So yeah, it makes all the sense in the world now. When I said that Lancer was there, he says, "Oh, I'll go take care of Rin," because Lancer's masters ordered him to look after Rin. It makes all the sense in the world why it'd be Kira now. And even in this reaction, I was like, "It's got to be Sakura then." Oh, I'm gonna use this as an excuse because I feel like I've been hard done by. Like, the whole thing of, like, I was sure that Lancer said at some point that his master was female. I might have been wrong. I might have just read, like, a subtitle wrong. But I was fucking positive. And that's the reason why it threw me off. Because I was like, well, there's only a certain amount of fucking female characters in the show that would, You know what I mean? And there's only like one, possibly even two, that would be, that if they came out as like Lance's master, you'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So I was like, it has to be Sakura then. It's the only meaningful fucking other female in this show. And it would make sense why she would have Lancer look after Rain, because it's her sister. Again, we don't know like if Sakura is even aware that much that Rain is her sister or not. We don't know. But yeah, it makes more sense now that it's obviously Kira. So yeah, I mean the whole thing of like him Kira just breaking the rules, being like, you know, I mean, to what rules are they? I mean, it's got to be just mediator rules. Like that's the only thing it can be. You know what I mean? I don't think this is like a case of like the Holy Grail has rules, because I'm sure there wasn't a like there's a thing where like the first Holy Grail War didn't have these rules in place, right? Like there wasn't a mediator or anything, right? I think someone told me that there wasn't like a priest that was the neutral ground in the first one, maybe even the second one, the second war. But so yeah, I mean, it's just basically Kira fucking over tradition more than rules, I think. Because I think they're not official rules set by the Grail. Oh, you need to do this or shit'll hit the fan. I think he's just basically fucking over that like tradition. You know what I mean? He's going about it his own fucking way because he's chaotic and he likes that shit. So yeah, he's still got all the fucking command spells you could ever want because he's the fucking mediator and he has them all. Fucking Kira. I thought, like, when he came down, when I could see his silhouette coming down the stairs, and I was like, oh, here he is, there's Gilgamesh. And I was like, it's not really his, like, silhouette, though. It's got to be someone different. I was like, oh, it's fucking Kira, yeah. You know, he had to, like, turn back up at some point. I mean, he had to, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, like, seeing Shinji, like, still out of his depth in what he's you know what I mean? Like, he likes to act all like evil and shit, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he's still a coward out of his depth, you know what I mean? Like, push comes to shove, if he doesn't have anyone in his corner, he's fucked, you know what I mean? He can't do anything by himself. So, you know, you see him witness, like, yeah, you see him like witness after Kira tells Lancer to kill himself and orders him to kill himself, they see like Shira like fucking like proper taken aback by it, like whoa, you know what I mean? So I like the little like sort of details with Shiro in those moments, you know what I mean? It's not like they didn't like animate him to be like sitting there like sniggering away, you know what I mean? Being like truly evil where nothing phases him. Even the things that like he's supposed to be alright with still get him a bit, you know what I mean? Still like, whoa, fucking hell. Because at the end of the day, he's still a kid. So much of a fucking dickhead he is, and quite frankly, I hope someone kills him. But you know, he is still like a sort of a kid. So yeah. So yeah, well, yeah, Archer basically throw Shiro and a sort of a short sword, basically tell him to kill himself, because in hopes that it will get rid of him as well. But I don't. That's not how it works. I'm positive that'll not be how it works. But he says, "Oh, might as well try anyway." And if it doesn't work, who cares? You know what I mean? Because I mean, why would Archer care at this point anyway? You know what I mean? Like, his ideals have turned that much where, like I've said, it's become less about everyone else, and he's gotten more on the side of like himself. So, you know, to him, it's like, oh, he kills himself. The advantages are like the pros are that yeah, I might be free of this torture. And the cons are, well, it never worked. You know what I mean? So there's only really, you know, the pros outweigh the cons. Yeah, so I want to talk about the Scent of the Gallows by the Mastermind. Like, that is an odd one. I don't know, like, because where is it? It's towards the fucking end, isn't it? Like, not that far. Maybe here-ish. Don't know where it is. I know it's in here somewhere.
I think it was
more this side, wasn't it?
いや、これは傑作だ。確かに欺かれ男な。
最後は。
Yeah, here we go.
あーちゃん。
So he
あなた
says.
最後は。
Wait a minute. Is this before or after?
俺に罪があるというのなら。
No, here.
されるはずもない。
So he
最後に
says.
は争いの張本人だと押し付けられて。
Oh, I was set up as the mastermind behind the conflict. So right, so he was betrayed then. By who though? Did he say something beforehand that I missed? I do try to look at everything like when I'm reacting to it.
俺が自分の罪を償う。バカなことを言うなよ、セイバー。確かに俺は何度も裏切られ、欺かれた。他人のために命を捨てる男なんぞ、誰に理解されるはずもない。最後には争いの張本人だと押し付け。
Yeah, so there's not really any information behind, like, I was set up as the mastermind behind the conflict and sent to the gallows. So there's not like a... He never talked about there being anything behind it, like what the deal was when he got set up. I guess just the point is that he was being betrayed. I guess that's maybe the point. You know what I mean? I would like to know exactly what that was though. Like I would like to know like the situation that he was in that he got set up as. You know what I mean? There was some kind of conflict that he got himself involved with, and then he was set up as a result, and then he got hanged for it. I mean, that's a bit nuts in of itself, because of the time that this takes place, like the actual, like the current time, the era that it's in, like the fact that they're using gallows. I mean, I guess he could be like in a different country, maybe, you know what I mean? But I guess it is a bit odd that you'd be hanged. But yeah, so anyway, that's how he went out. Yeah, so it's not by the mastermind, because he was set up as the mastermind. Oh god. Up as the. There we go. Alright. So yeah, and then there's that. And then the final thing is that Kirei, he was talking about, or Gilgamesh after the Berserker fight, said that oh, we need to use her or something, right? There was something like that where he said that girl is a better vessel. So Rin then. That's who we're talking about, right? This is a, so it's got to be using Rin as like the lesser grail. So what the fuck is the lesser grail something that grows, that needs like a host in order to like, you know, to I'm trying to think of the word. Is it manifest? Why doesn't that sound right? I need to have a look. Manifest. Is that right? Manifest. I thought I was wrong. I was like, why am I saying manifest? It's manifest. Idiot. Yeah, so does it need a host to like manifest or something over the course of like the Holy Grail War or something? Because and what does it mean when they're like, why would Rin be a better vessel for it? Why would, I don't understand that at all. Like, what? Because I thought the whole thing with Elia was the fact that she was beyond like anybody else in terms of magical circuits and stuff. So it can't be to do with that then, surely, right? You know what I mean? I don't know what Rin has that Elia doesn't, that makes it so that Rin is a better vessel for the Grail than Elia is. Unless there's something with the idea of like, oh, someone who is truly human. Like maybe that has some special effect that Kirei wants to try because he's a fucking nutcase. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So I guess that's the plan. You know what I mean? I mean, if Kira, depending on how long he's had this in his head, could be thinking like, you know, if he's been, you know, training her and nurturing her for some reason, maybe there's something that he's taught her that, I don't know, that enhances something that's going to help the Grail do something. I don't know. I mean, it's fucking Kira, innit? So yeah, nuts. But that's all I've got for this episode. That was a fucking long one. That was a long discussion on that one, because that, like I said, that was one of my favorite episodes. Like, it was a real, like, fucking whoa sort of episode, like a big lot, like, you know, revelations, fucking, you know, things to take on board, things to theory about, things to talk about. So that was a good one. I enjoyed that. So yeah, that was episode 7. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I've linked certain things. Discord, get yourself over there if you want any information regarding my content or anything like that, or you just want to come over and talk to me or the community. You're free to do that. SirMonkeySuit.com, my website, all my content is over there. So if you know, you want to get yourself over there, you can become a member and join the forums and whatnot, and then, you know, you can give reaction recommendations if you want your show to be reacted to for future polls and things like that. And Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, that'd be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early. Fate was getting 4 episodes a week, but as this comes out on YouTube, it'll be a different show, so make sure you look out to see what that is if you're interested. $10 a month, that is the full length, so everything I react to gets a full length. You'll get access to my full length library. $15, that is the exclusive tier, so that gives you access to a bonus show I'm currently reacting to, which is 7 Deadly Sins. So if you want to see me react to that, then you want to become an exclusive tier patron. But it's only exclusive while it airs, so once I've finished reacting to it, it will go out for the general public. $50, that is the elite tier, so every time you pay $50, you get a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It will go at the back of the list by about 7 shows. Might take me a while to get around to it, but I will do eventually. But if you don't want to wait that long and you want your show to be reacted to next, then you want to get God's tier, which is $100. But that is all, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.